Hello, and welcome to the Dungeons and Dice Dragons podcast. I am your host, Justin Hayward, and today we'll be discussing our session 1 here on the podcast. To my left is one of the players who will be playing in this campaign. His name is Cody. Cody, would you please introduce your character?
Hi, I'm Cody. I'll be playing a Minotaur named Gore, and I am playing as a barbarian.
Josh, could you introduce your character, please?
Hi, I'm Josh. I'm going to be playing a male dragonborn warlock named Droza.
And Elle, could you introduce your character, please?
Hello, everyone. I'm Elle, and I'm going to be playing a Furbolg druid named Citradora.
For those of you who don't know what Dungeons & Dragons is an immersive storytelling in which I, the Dungeon Master, will be serving as the sort of storyteller for these players in this sort of interactive world that I'm creating. For the world that we've created for this podcast, the theme is called Planeshift, and you'll slowly learn what the reason of that is as we play through the podcast. Welcome to Session 1 of Dungeons & Dice Dragons. So each of our young heroes falls asleep in their hometowns in the world of Toral Faerun. As they fall into these deep slumbers, a sound above them starts to radiate. This sort of deep sound wave. As a portal emerges, swallowing each of the characters up. They're sort of sucked into these unknown vast space. Each of them sort of eyes glaring as the color shifts. They sort of go into this sort of yellows and orange and green sort of transparency as they're slowly shifted from their world into this new plane of existence. When the heroes find themselves in this new world, they immediately find themselves asleep, as they find the situation was a dream. The first person to wake up was Citradora.
I'm gonna roll perception on the room. I don't know if I'm in a room. Somewhere. That one.
So looking around you, you quickly realize, even with a natural 1, that you are not in the world that you came from. You notice this sort of color scheme of just the grass below you. And rather than being the green, lush sort of grass that you're used to on your plane, it's very much a vibrant reddish purple. And that's really all you would notice with the nat 1. The next person to wake up was Drazeth.
I look around, panicked.
Go ahead and do a perception check for me.
Nat 1.
So you also see this really, really nice grass. Welcome to the campaign, boys and ladies.
That's some nice grass.
All right. Last to awake in sort of a bloodied state is Gore.
Where am I?
Go ahead and do a perception check for me.
That's a nat 20.
So looking around, you immediately see everything that your friends missed. Okay, so the color scheme of this world that you're in, the grass is sort of this purplish red coloring. You're in some sort of dark forest with a lot of overhang. The wood of the forest is a white coloring, which is unlike the browns that you're accustomed to in your world. And the leaves, unlike the greens that you would associate, are these sort of bright, vibrant pink coloring. Nearby, you can see the sort of over this rock overhang, a sort of river moving along. And the water itself throws you off because you can see the vibrant colors leaping off of the coloring of the water itself. It's a sort of orange coloring. You can clearly tell that you're not in the world that you came from. that you have shifted planes to a new existence. And looking around, you also notice 2 other people that you've never met, lying kind of on the ground, rubbing the grass, kind of questioning their life decisions at this point.
You, lizard thing, what are you doing?
This has happened to me before. Where am I?
I don't know. I thought you knew. You're weird. You look like you're from this weird place.
All I see is purple.
Stand up.
I look up.
So standing up and looking around, you can tell your surroundings as I described them to Gore. You can see these sort of bright colored leaves above you, this sort of dark overhang. You seem to be in some sort of forest.
Okay. Who's this?
Oh, and also with your nat 20, so the river was towards your south.
Mm-hmm.
Towards your north, you noticed a sort of clearing probably almost 200-300 feet ahead of you.
Clearing to the north?
Yes.
Thank you.
I gesture at the druid and say, who are you?
Citradora, where are we?
I think we're all asking that question.
So you guys hear this sort of humming sound of magic emanating from the forest itself. It seems that the forest is enchanted in a way, giving off a magical presence, probably remnant of the world that you're currently in, as it seems to be magic everywhere. Like, just having been exposed to magic in your lives, you guys can all immediately tell that this world is prevalent of magic. So what would you guys like to do now that you guys have kind of met up?
Well, I'm Gore. I have no clue what's going around. I see that there's some river water thing over there by that rock. I don't know. Would you say your name was?
Drozath.
Drozath?
Yes.
Okay. What are you? I don't want to be offensive and call you a lizard unless you are a lizard.
I don't quite know what I am. I remember not much about who I once was. All I know is the abyss.
Okay.
I do seem to be scaly.
Yeah.
Which tends to be in contrast with most other creatures I come across.
Okay. I'll accept that. And then, would you say Citradora?
Yes.
Okay. And what, do you know anything about this area? You look like you wander a lot.
Well, given that I am dressed in greens, not to this area.
That's fair. Where do you guys want to go? Do you want to go to the rock and check out the water? You guys thirsty?
Is it safe to drink?
I don't know. We can go investigate them.
First, how do I know I can trust any of you? Who do you serve?
I serve me.
And you?
Nature.
I work for myself. I'm a gladiator. I'm a champion.
Interesting.
So as you guys are having this sort of conversation, you guys can hear off in the distance a sort of chattering sound of like some sort of creature gnawing on something. It's like hidden behind a tree towards the northern area where I was talking about where that clearing was.
Mm-hmm.
There seems to be some sort of something over there gnawing on something. Sounds like something crunchy.
You hear that? That chewing sound?
Yes, what is it?
I don't know, but if it's chewing, it indicates food.
It's getting annoying.
Well, let's go check it out.
I agree.
So heading north, you guys managed to come just before the tree. Would anyone like to do another perception check? Go ahead.
13.
13.
I'll also do perception.
Go ahead.
19
Okay.
plus 20. Non-natural 20.
So looking off in the distance, you definitely see Drozath, a human person, sort of sitting there, kind of in some sort of shrubbery, like a makeshift wooden crown, and he's gnawing on this giant sort of rainbow-colored acorn, just going to town on an acorn. And he kind of just looks up at you, just like a koala bear with a eucalyptus leaf in their mouth. And so he kind of looks up at you and he's like, "Oh, hello. Who are you?
Where are we?"
Well, shit, I don't know. I came here from some place called Faerun. I don't know if you've ever been there. I was portaled here for whatever reason.
Portaled?
Yeah. Do you want acorn? He kind of hands a acorn out to you. It's rainbow colored.
How long have you been here?
So looking at his hair coloring, you can see that he's got sort of this grayish coloring, this full beard. And he looks really, really thin, as if he's been malnourished for probably months or even years. And he's missing a few teeth. And he just kind of has like this really crazy bushy eyebrows. And he's just kind of looking at you like, time is irrelevant. But if we were to say a number, I would say it's somewhere around, I don't know, years. I'm the crazy hermit. What can I say?
Well, crazy hermit, no thank you to your rainbow nut, but
well, they call me Magnus the Magnificent was my name in the world of Faerun.
Well, is there any cities or towns you can point us to maybe we get other answers?
So he's still chewing on this nut. It's pretty loud, just sort of crunching noise. And he's just like, well, you can come to my tea party, and I will ensure that I can give you any information I have. I haven't had guests in a long time. Come.
What is this Faerun you speak of? It sounds familiar, but I can't quite remember.
It's the world that I came from. It's one of the worlds inside of a normal society. So it's a normal world inside of this other society. Kind of explains Faerun is like a portion of the Sword Coast. Would you?
Do you have real food to eat over there? Not just acorns? Do you have meat?
I have berries. If it's meat that you like, there's stray animals. And he kind of points around, and you guys notice, especially because you guys were struggling so heavily, that you notice a lot of like animals sort of transversing through this area. Like, for example, you see a deer, sort of majestic looking deer with sort of like reindeer antlers, as it looks very different than the world that you guys came from. Kind of just gnawing on some bushes.
Okay.
I do not need berries. I need flesh.
Yeah, I'm looking for a real meal, not berries, but if we bring some, can you cook? Do you know how to?
Is cooking the thing you do with the fire to make your tea warm?
Yes.
Then yes.
Do I see this deer?
Yes, perception. Yeah, because he pointed out the deer, you'd be able to see it.
Okay.
But if you're going to try to like attack it or whatever, I'm going to need you to roll like a nature check to see if you're going to startle it by any sudden movements.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd like to. If I could, I would. Hold on. I currently apparently have no known spells.
That's the beauty of editing.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to. I am going to take Eldritch Blast. That sounds pretty decent.
Just a little decent.
Just maybe.
You know, I'm going to keep this in because this sounds funny. Style.
Well, while that's happening, can I roll perception to see if there's any other animals around or anything that I might think is edible?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah.
What do you want me to roll for?
Go ahead and roll a nature check for me. And if you're looking for an animal as well, go and roll a nature check.
Do nature as well for like fruit edibles.
Yep.
The non-hallucinogenic
Would that be
kind.
survival, though?
Yeah.
So do you want me to roll survival or nature?
Nature.
Nature, I got 16.
16? Okay.
I got 11.
Right. So looking around, you're both able to see a variety of other animals. There's like some little squirrels. Like one little squirrel's kind of like jumped onto the back of this man who he described himself as named Magnus, and he's handing this squirrel an acorn, and this squirrel's eyes just start to sort of swirl up as he's like tripping on this acorn. Clearly, they're having some good times together on this acorn.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to eat the acorn.
And then you notice some rabbits, and you notice the deer. Obviously, it looks like, just given this area, doesn't seem like it's startled by you, but any movement might startle and make it run away.
Now I get 2 cantrips and 2 first levels, right?
Yep.
Okay.
How far away are these squirrels and deers?
So the squirrel, there's one on the shoulder of Magnus, which is right in front of you. There's a couple other squirrels that are up in the tree just above you. And so they're kind of hanging up in the tree line. And then on the ground, the rabbit's probably like 15, 20 feet away, and the deer's probably closer to 30 or 40 feet away.
Okay.
So are you going to come to my tea party?
Yeah, as long as you cook.
I need to eat. I'd like to cast Hellish Rebuke on the deer.
Okay, go ahead and what does it need to save?
13.
13? And is it Constitution?
Dex.
Yeah, so for whatever reason, it magically is unaffected by anything you've ever said or would do.
Okay.
Got a nat 20s, guys. Sorry. It's a rough day.
You said the deer is like 20 feet away?
It's like 30 feet away. And hearing this magical spell, it kind of just looks at you, specifically, like looks you dead in the eyes and was like, "You're going to have to try better than that if you want to eat me." And he kind of scrapes his little huff.
Then I'd like to use the poison breath weapon on it.
So how far is the distance? It's 60 feet,
Oh,
right?
it is 15. Damn.
Yeah, so it's a cone too, so it's a little out of your range.
Yeah, that's fair.
Also, if you poison it, I don't know how edible it'll be.
Edible to me.
Edible to you, yes.
While it's looking at Drozad, I'm going to try to sneak up around it a little bit, try to get a little closer. I'm going to get about like 20 feet away.
Okay, so you're trying to sneak up on the deer?
Yeah.
So go ahead and do a stealth check for me.
That is a 12.
Yeah, so while it is sort of distracted, talking shit, you manage to sneak up close to it. So you're within range. If you got any closer, it definitely would notice, but given your distance, I feel like it's...
How far am I?
You're about 15 to 20 feet now.
20 feet?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I would like to...
So as you guys are kind of like moving around, he kind of just gets up and walks towards the clearing. Not the deer. I'm discussing Magnus. Magnus gets up with this squirrel on his shoulder and starts walking towards the clearing. And he's like, "You come to the tea party?"
I'm gonna follow Magnus. Can I keep an eye out for plants that I think might be edible?
Oh.
If you're looking for...
Hold on. Okay, Hellish Rebuke, I have to get damaged by it. I'm reading it.
Mm-hmm.
So it failed anyways.
It's okay.
No.
But we'll say that for this, that you didn't use a spell slot.
Sure.
And then for those in the audience, a lot of this stuff, it's going to be pretty homebrewy. It's going to, just for story purposes, we're not going to get stuck up on the mantics. It's just to ensure that as we progress through the story, if we make a mistake, we can go back and learn from our mistakes during the podcast.
Right.
So, Citradora, you follow Magnus into this clearing. This clearing's probably about 20 or so feet ahead of you. Go ahead and do another perception check for me, since you said you were looking for plants anyways.
22.
So looking around, you easily find some berries along the way. Sort of just like winter berries, sort of just kind of sitting somewhere. Kind of just grab up a whole handful of them and kind of just continue to walk, plopping berries in your mouth. You're like, I don't know if they're edible, but I'm just going to keep going. But based off of your experience in the woods, you don't assume them to be poisonous. So following them into the clearing, we're going to leave that for a second so these guys can do their thing. Mm-hmm. All right, so you're within 20 feet. What were you trying to do?
All right. I'm going to try to just blitz attack it with my Goring Rush. Okay. I dash 20 feet. Bonus action, I get to attack with my horns.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and have you roll for initiative.
Roll for initiative.
Well, you're rushing, so you're going to get you'll get a surprise round, so go ahead and we'll do that first.
Okay.
So go ahead and roll to see if you hit.
Okay. Do I get advantage?
Yes.
That's a nat 20.
Okay, so...
Obliterated.
Okay, so for our guests at home and for those of you at the table, for nat 20s, what we're going to be doing is giving you max damage plus an additional hit die. I feel like that's going to just enjoy that sort of nat 20. So go ahead and roll for damage for me.
I rolled all at once. So I would get the 6 for the horns, and I rolled a 5. So I'll do 11 points of slashing damage with the horns.
Because it's over double its hit points, first off, how do you want to do this? And second off, when you do it, it might get red misted.
Oh, I mean, I'm just going to blitz forward, with my horns, and I'm just going to, plow into the side of it like a Mack truck on the highway and just pin it against the nearest tree. Yeah,
so you come barreling down this sort of narrow sort of way, like alleyway almost between these trees as you kind of just rush past them, going full speed, bring your horns down on this tree who's clearly talking shit. And all of a sudden he looks over and just goes, oh, shit, and just gets clobbered into the side of this tree. And it's pinned there currently. Its body instantly goes slack. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of just like drooping. It's blood dripping down into your face.
Just like home.
I'd like to run over and start eating it.
So as you start to run over, all of the nearby animals scatter at the sound of this sort of loud thud. And they kind of like dissipate into different areas. So you run over and you guys are just going to munch on this thing raw?
Oh, I'm going to rip off a leg and just go
ham on it?
Yeah, just eat it raw.
Yeah, go ahead and do a strength check for me since you're ripping off a leg.
I mean, I could sure. 12 or 11.
I'll say that given that it's pinned and it's already probably got some mangled limbs, you kind of just turkey leg this thing kind of with some extra force, just rip it off. And you kind of just have this giant sort of meat stick. Still with the fur on it, you just take a giant bite out of it and just kind of chomping on it. Sort of its purple-colored blood sort of pouring down your face.
Yeah.
Dope.
Seems good.
Respect.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to unhinge it from my horns and carry it over to the tea party.
Yeah, so you manage to backpack it and kind of just throw it over one of your shoulders and kind of just hanging on to it by its horns. You just kind of walk over to the tea party, still covered in its blood.
Mm-hmm. Beef's for dinner tonight.
So going back to the tea party.
You're the beef.
I'm the beef. I'm the beef.
Beef has dinner.
Oh, man.
So going back to the tea party, you immediately, upon this clearing, notice that although it is a clearing, there is still a lot of overhang of trees. It's just a lot. They're not as closely knit together. So it creates a couple of sunlight sort of areas. And from that, you can actually look down and you can see the sort of makeshift wooden table. And sitting at it is a whole bunch of human-esque bodies, all rotting and decaying. And they're all kind of just sitting there with teacups in front of them.
Yeah, I'm going to turn around and walk away.
You had food here already. Why'd we have to kill something?
So you guys don't see this yet. So he looks at you and he's like, I thought you were coming to the tea party. Are you going to insult me in front of my friends? And he kind of gestures towards the table of dead bodies.
I think your friends are a little bit past their prime.
Well, I know they're old, but they're still friends. And he kind of smiles at you with a few of his missing teeth, sort of just like, you want to sit down and have some tea?
No, thank you. I don't drink tea.
So as you're saying that, they're kind of walking up with their deer, and I need all of you to roll for initiative.
Yeah.
So right, so we're gonna do this as I'm gonna call it the Matt Mercer way. So it'll be 25 to 20.
22.
20. Non-natural.
Okay.
20. Nice.
So Gore with the 22, 20 for Drozath. And then what did you get?
8.
So Citradora got 8. All right. So as you guys are moving forward, you notice the head of Magnus starts to turn slowly. Noticing that he's probably upset that she insulted his friends, his head starts to crank and slowly turn upside down as his spirit resides from the sort of skeleton structure that he was in. And face to face with you is a ghostly sort of creature who's hovering above this now sort of flat body on the ground, this sort of husk that he came out of.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "You don't want to come to the tea party?" And that's where we're going to go ahead and have Gore start your turn.
What the hell is this?
I'm not entirely sure.
Okay, it's go time. And I draw out my great axe.
Yeah, so are you going to drop the deer that's still on your shoulder?
Drop the deer. Draw the great axe. And then how far away am I?
So you're probably about 20 feet from her, which is about 5 more feet in front of her. So he's about 25 feet.
25 feet. Okay, let's see. Drawing the axe is a action. So
It's your item interaction.
It's your item interaction.
yes.
So drawing your weapons isn't going to count for this campaign as something that's going to take away from your ability to play the game. So drawing your weapons, drawing your shield, that's not going to take away from you to be able to attack or use your spell slots.
Well, then I'm going to dash because I have 30 feet of movement. I'm going to get into it and do the horns are coming out again. We're doing the goring rush again.
Sure, go ahead. Is it you? Are you? How many times a day are you allowed to use the rush?
It is just my ability.
Awesome. All right.
I have to dash a minimum of 20 feet, though.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So go ahead.
We're going to dash. And we're going to see what we got. Roll, go twice. That is 18 to hit.
That'll hit.
And it is 4 points of slashing damage.
4 points of slashing damage. Okay. All right. So now you're within range. Any other things you would like to do? Do you have a bonus action or anything you want to use?
The goring rush is a bonus action.
Okay.
After the dash.
All right. So next up, it's going to be the Magnus's turn. So Magnus, seeing that you're now within range, kind of looks at you and he's, "Oh, you want to attack Magnus?" And what is your armor class?
16.
So that's going to hit.
Bullets.
Yeah. And he is going to do so you're going to take 8 damage. And I need you to make a Constitution save for me.
4.
So on a failure, total hit points maximum is going to be reduced by half.
Okay.
Until you finish a long rest.
Fun. Okie
So
dokie.
is that pre or post damage?
Post damage.
So it takes it and remaining is half or
Yep.
total hit?
No, total hit points is half. So you're just where you're at is where you're at.
Yeah. Because I took over half anyway, so.
Yep.
Gotcha. Is it half rounded up or down?
It says. Oh no, sorry. Your maximum is reduced by the amount of damage that you took. So your maximum is reduced by 8 until.
Oh, so I'm technically at full health then.
Yeah.
Okay. Fun. Huzzah.
Nice.
All right, that's going to end his turn. All right, next up
Oh, shit.
Yeah, he's a guy. Next up is Drozeth.
I'll Eldritch Blast him.
Yep, going for Old Faithful. All right, so go ahead. Are you staying where you're at?
Do I have any cover? Or?
You can try to get half cover or you can use the hide action after as a bonus. You can try to get half cover behind one of the trees or whatever.
Okay. Yeah, we'll just Eldritch Blast first.
Sure. Go ahead and roll to see if you hit.
Okay. So what's the modifier? Yeah, so it would be 12.
That hits. Go ahead and roll for damage.
7.
7? Okay, so you just do this sort of large blast, sort of force damage kind of hits him and kind of shivers a little bit as he was hit with the sort of damage type.
Mm-hmm. And then, yeah, I'll go for some cover.
All right, so then you kind of duck behind one of the trees so he doesn't see you.
Yep.
Who dares attack me? Come out, Creven. And next up is going to be Citradora.
All right, I'm going to cast. He's right there, correct?
Yep, he's right in front of you. So he's
cast poison spray. I extend my hand toward a creature I can see within range and project a puff of noxious gas from my palm. Must succeed on a Constitution saving throw.
Sure. If you want to use that as your spell slot, you can. But it's pretty ghostly, so you don't know if poison will work.
It's a cantrip.
Okay.
It's not like I have anything else. Con.
Huh?
It's a con saving throw.
Sure, but it doesn't affect him.
Okay. Yeah.
So do you want to do anything else with your action?
Let's see. Nope.
Okay. So you kind of just hang tight. All right, back up to the top.
All right. Right in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go with our Great Axe Slash.
Yep, go and see if you hit.
What is it? Strength. It's a 14 to hit.
That hits. Roll for damage.
I already did, and it's a strength-based weapon, so I have my proficiency plus my strength modifier.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a 14 to hit.
It's 14 damage?
Damage.
How do you want to do this?
Man, I just cleave him head to toe, straight down the middle.
Yep, so with two hands on your great axe, you kind of just over the top, just sort of like he's a piece of wood, and you just split through him, kind of clocks in half, and he says, "No more tea time!" And he kind of just splits in half as tea time is no more. And that'll end your first combat.
Man, that bitch said he was going to cook dinner. Now who's going to cook?
I'm going to go search, the table, the tea party table, see if, he was, poisoning.
Sure, go ahead and do a perception check for me.
I'm going to investigate the...
Wait, you're just investigating the table?
Yeah.
Do an investigation check for me, I'm sorry.
I'm just going to investigate the guy split in two, Magnus.
Yeah, go ahead and you can investigate his body as well.
15.
Okay.
10, I believe. Yes, 10.
So looking at Magnus, you notice that his pockets are full with these sort of acorns. But he also has 4 gold pieces on him. So just a very small amount. Looking at the table, though, you notice that underneath the table, there seems to be a large chest.
I'm going to try to open it.
So as you try to open it, you notice that it is locked. And there are a whole bunch of dead bodies just chilling.
Right there.
Right, they're just kind of chilling right there.
Okay.
Can I check the bodies for possible key that might be hidden somewhere?
Sure, do another investigation check for me. Is there anything you wanted to do, Droga?
I want to talk to Gore.
Sure.
17.
Gore, you seem to be set on this cooking thing. Well, what is that?
I'm hungry. I don't like to cook.
What is cooking?
I can't eat raw meat like you do.
Meat is food.
Yes, but
What else can you do? It is meat.
you cook it with some salt and pepper and seasonings, and it tastes better.
So you say cook. What does cook mean?
We start fire.
Oh, fire.
So as you say that, you notice that there is a fire up behind the table. There is like a fire, and there's a little pot there with what should be a nice sort of hot teacup, but instead it's just sort of a broken teacup, and the pot itself seems to be pretty aged.
Okay, I'm going to show you. I'm going to grab the rest of the deer carcass and drag it over to the fire. And we're gonna, take the teapot off, and I'm gonna show you how to cook.
Okay.
Sure. So you start roasting up the meats. So you go towards the table, and you notice amongst the other bodies, there isn't a lot on these people. Like, most of them are really past their prime decayed. Like, they had armor that was really sort of like leather armor that's already been decayed, probably for past like 30 years. And you do manage to find a sort of metallic key on one of the bodies. Seems to have like a crown. And sort of like longish hair, as if it were some sort of female sort of body at one point.
Okay, I'm gonna take the key and try it on the chest.
Yep. So you unlock the chest, and opening it up, you are face to face with a few items. Those are, you find 20 gold pieces, a diary, which says the Diary of Magnus, and a map of the local area. On the inside of the chest, you also notice carved in some sort of fashion with maybe like a rock or a knife. It says, "Beware of the dark." So while you're doing all that, you're sort of cooking your way through. Go ahead and do a survival check for me.
Yeah, buddy. That is a nat 1.
So
that makes it a whole 2.
So while you're talking to him about how good cooking does, you are burning and crisping up this nice deer that you had. Super crisp. This is as Texan steaks can be,
I've seen this before. The meat is burning. Why burn the meat?
Go. There you go. Pull it off the fire.
Yep, so
it's like Pittsburgh style. It's like burn on the outside and red in the middle.
Yeah,
that's the inside, burned on the outside. It's just burning.
It went from looking like a deer to a brisket real quick.
Hey man, I like brisket.
It's not going to taste like brisket.
No, I bet not. I got no barbecue sauce.
So on the table, you do notice that there are some sort of herbs that they had collected. Even in this sort of husk, it seems like Magnus was collecting supplies or things to make his daily spirit life easier.
I'm going to eat.
I'll try it.
Yeah.
And I will very much dislike it and say, this is so much worse.
Yep, so you kind of like take a bite and you kind of make a disgusting face to yourself and go back to the
leg, the big leg I'm holding.
Yeah, you kind of just go back to that and start chomping on it.
Much better.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, all of you guys have managed to collect food. You do notice that the sun is sort of beginning to get darker in this little clearing. It's probably a little past midday at this point.
Did Magnus have like a hut or some type of shelter that he lived in?
It looked like the tea table was his place.
Like he didn't have like a little house next to it or a teepee or.
He was a ghost, so probably not.
I don't know. Ghosts like to live luxury.
Light sources.
You guys would have light sources in your adventuring gear. You guys would have torches.
I wouldn't. I'd just be here. Considering I'm just getting warped into this world, I would not be prepared for it.
That is fair.
Yeah. I don't.
I do have a torch.
Okay, so you guys do have a torch. So yeah, you guys are in this clearing. Is there anything anybody else wanted to do?
Did you find anything?
Found that thing's diary. A map, which will be useful. Some gold and something inscribed in the chest it's got under there. Beware of the dark.
Well, it's midday. It's looking like it's going to be getting dark soon.
Can I see the diary?
I handed the diary over.
So yep, grab the diary.
Is it written in a language I recognize?
Go ahead and do a investigation check for me.
6.
So looking at it, the first thing you're going to notice, even with the 6, is that it does have a lock on it.
There's a lock on it. Okay. Sure. Is there any inscription or anything on the outside of it?
Yeah, so in common, it says Diary of Magnus.
Okay. Sure. Is this like... Describe the book to me, if you will, so that I...
So it has like a sort of wooden... like it's almost like a paper... It's like the parchment paper. And then it has sort of like a wooden outer structure with some sort of makeshift like metallic lock actually put onto the book. And then the outside has sort of this vinyl sort of esque look to it. So it has like a pretty reddish coloring. And then the words Magnus, Diary of Magnus, are sort of engraved in it in a very sort of high penmanship of what you could assume to be like elvish in nature.
Okay.
Or dwarven.
Okay. Did you find a key on him for this?
I found a key, but it opened the chest. We can try it on the diary.
So, I mean, if he had a way to get it open, there has to be a key around here somewhere.
So you go to try to open it, and you just kind of like try to go in, and you realize it's not even the same key type. You look at it, and you're like, that ain't gonna work.
I'm gonna go investigate the husk.
Sure. Go ahead and do an investigation on the husk.
Key on it. 10.
So you don't really see anything else on this husk. It seems to be just a giant sort of skin suit at this point.
Could just try breaking it. It's
Yeah.
just paper in there.
I mean, it's just a simple lock on a piece of wood. You want me to try to rip it open?
Sure. I hand him the book.
Yeah, go ahead and do a strength check for me.
Just to rip the lock off?
Yeah.
14.
Yeah, so this lock isn't very strong. And you kind of just like hold the book and just like with your big sort of meaty finger just kind of break it off. You just hand it back to him like, here you
go. I open it. Can I read the writing? Is it?
It is also in common.
Okay, it is in common. I'd like to read it and try to get at least a gist of who he was or
so if you're gonna
he was there.
If you're just gonna do past like a skim, it's gonna take some time to do that, probably like an hour or two.
I'll just keep it and then I'll read it during a rest.
Okay.
Can I investigate the map?
Yeah, so you go ahead and open up the map, and looking at the map, you actually see. So for those in the audience, I'm actually handing them a map of the local area.
Okay.
Based off of your knowledge of the local, like just your knowledge nature, you can assume that you are somewhere within the dark forest.
The Black Forest?
Yeah, the Black Forest.
Okay.
Can I look at that?
Whenever you're done.
Yeah.
All right. So what would you guys like to do now?
I mean, I'd like to read the map.
Sure.
As well.
So we're going to go ahead and take a quick break, and then we will come back to the podcast. All right, and we are back. So the party found out during the break that they were in the lower portion of the Black Forest Woods. They don't know what country or world they're in, but they do know that much from the map that they were given. And they're currently deciding what they're going to do.
So, Drozath, you said we're, like, here? on the map? The south side?
That's me.
I don't know. It's up to her. I see a lot of trees.
Yeah. I mean, because like you're the map person, can you estimate how long it would take for us to get up north to that port village type thing?
Go ahead and do a nature roll for me.
Nature?
Yep.
10.
10? So, based off of your own sort of understanding of maps and sort of just history with traveling, you could assume that it's probably going to be anywhere between 2 to 3 days travel.
2 to 3 days travel?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're somewhere in this wood. It's in the woods alone. It's going to take a while to transverse through.
Okay. And you said we're on the south side of it?
Yep. You're on the south side of the Black Forest Woods.
Okay. So, like, how long would it take for us to get out to the plains?
To the plains from where you are, probably about a day and a half, maybe 2 days if you go straight south.
Okay.
What about going to Everon?
To Everon? Everon's probably going to be anywhere between another day or two's travel.
Okay.
Because I was just worried, like, the thing said beware of the dark.
If we need light, I can take care of that.
Because it's about midday right now.
It's a little after 1 o'clock. I'll say you guys been discussing for about an hour now.
Okay. How about, because at night typically it's scarier. Like that's when like a lot of bad things come out. If you guys want, we can start putting together like a little bit of a shelter for us for our first night. Keep the fire going. And then like I'll go to sleep within the next like 2 hours or so.
We can take shifts.
And then that way I'll get a full rest and I'll be able to stay up for the night and keep watch.
Or we don't need this fire. I can make fire. I say we get a move on now, and then
I would rather not spend the night with dead bodies.
Yeah, there's literally
when it
dead
begins
bodies.
to become dark, I feel like we should set up camp.
Okay. That's just what I was worried about.
Get a few more hours of traveling.
Okay. So we'll start making our way north, and then we'll find a spot to set up camp.
So you guys are heading north towards Everon?
Everon or Port? I vote for the Port.
I do as well.
Let's do it.
All right, so you guys are going to be heading north through the Black Forest, trying to head out of the Black Forest towards Port Village, which seems to be some sort of coastal plain here on this place you are currently residing.
Okay.
So as you guys are traveling, go ahead and do some more perception checks for me.
I got a 9.
I haven't seen it yet.
23.
Perception?
Yep.
Non-natural 20.
So you two specifically, well, you guys all three would see this, but you notice that as you guys sort of head out of this clearing, your eyes start to shrink a little bit, getting accustomed to the darkness again. And it seems that the darkness itself, this sort of dark black forest, this overhang of trees that are sort of clustered together, you notice that the ground itself is not dark. As mushrooms seem to be having this sort of glowish figuring of sort of illumination, as all these plants living on the bottom of this forest seem to be illuminating light for you. So even those who don't have dark vision can see as if it were normal for them in low light.
This is odd.
And again, these trees are still white with the pink sort of bushing, and the grass itself is still this sort of purplish red. These mushrooms sort of have this yellowish light fixture towards them, similar to like a lighting in your household. So they're illuminating as if they're physical lamps across the ground. Mm-hmm. You notice, though, that these plants, specifically you two, notice that they're kind of formed in sort of a pathway, as it were, and then outside of that, there isn't any sort of light fixture. How would you guys like to traverse this terrain?
I'll ask if we follow these, are we still heading north?
Yes. It might be a little around it, but you can tell that they do seem to track off in different directions. and north is one of those directions.
I say, with us being unfamiliar in general, we heed the warning of the dark is dangerous.
And stay on the path.
Yeah.
Can I investigate the glowing mushrooms?
Yeah, go ahead and do an investigation check for me.
Do I still have my deer
17.
leg?
So given that you guys took a pretty long break, I'll say most of your deer leg is gone at this point. You are really hungry. Most of your deer is gone, either from being from charred or from being eaten. So you guys are pretty light on deer meat right now. You probably have maybe like 2 or 3 more pounds. But bellies are definitely full.
Good.
And then you're full of berries.
Yeah.
So what did you roll?
17.
So 17. Yeah, so you don't get any sort of negative energy coming from them. You mostly just feel like it's sort of like they're almost as if they're warnings, right? They're like some sort of pathway. But they are giving off a sort of slight magical tone to them, and that's what's creating this sort of illumination. Almost like a slight heat, like a firefly.
I'm gonna pick a couple, put them in my bag.
So as you pick it from the ground, you notice that the illumination is slowly starting to die off as the bottom portion up until just the mushroom cap itself is died off and is no longer bright. But the mushroom cap seems to be holding its color for now.
Okay.
Okay.
Onward.
Onward.
All right, so you guys are heading north.
North. To Port Village.
All right, so as you guys are traveling, again, you notice this sort of pathway between these 2 mushrooms. And traveling along this pathway, you guys suddenly hear in the distance a sort of small crying sound of what appears to be some sort of small creature. If you guys want to perceive past that.
Yeah. Perception check on the small creature.
Yep. The sound, at least.
Yeah.
I'll also roll perception on that sound.
That's a nat 1.
Okay.
It's also a nat 1.
Okay.
I'll roll perception.
Okay. Let's see.
Non-natural 20.
All right. So you 2 are clearly distracted. You're distracted by your mushrooms that you've been picking and kind of infatuated by them. And you're distracted by your sort of greatness in that last battle. You're kind of reliving those moments as you're traversing, like thinking how awesome you were.
I am pretty awesome. Just pat myself on the back over here.
And as we progress through this campaign, I will say that I will not be giving you guys those answers. What I would like you guys to do as players is to come up with those answers as to why you would fail specific character-based checks.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you nat 20, why you think that in that moment you were so awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So with your non-natural 20, you are able to perceive off in the distance a small flickering sort of whimsical light emanating. And it seems to be some sort of like dust appearing behind them.
Mm-hmm.
As this creature is crying out for help.
Is it in the darkness?
It is in the darkness, but it seems to be moving towards your general location.
Hey guys, I think there's something that needs help over here.
Where?
Just
It's north.
north.
I'm going to ready my axe.
Okay.
Just in case, if it's in help, I don't know what's coming at us.
Mm-hmm.
And then do you want to, like, stealth towards it? Like, sneak around?
Sure.
Or you
Yeah,
want to rush
should.
towards it?
We should not
Proceed
make
with
ourselves
caution.
known. But
Okay.
is the north following the mushrooms?
North
or-
following the mushrooms, yes.
Okay, so it's not like off the beaten path, like into the darkness.
No.
Okay. Yeah, I say we proceed, try to see what's going down.
So as you guys are moving down this pathway, this small creature starts moving towards you. And again, in this sort of like small, lighter girl's voice is screaming, "Help! Please! Help! Anyone, please. And as she reaches you, you notice that she has a sort of small sort of body type. She's very small, only about an inch tall, sort of bright wings flapping. And for those of you who are familiar, she's a sprite.
Mm-hmm.
She kind of like looks at you and she's just like, hello, help, please.
What's going on? Are you okay?
I'm okay, but I need help. My sister and members of my village, they were kidnapped.
Where's this village?
It's up ahead, up in the trees.
How far up ahead? Like, is it a big village?
No. She kind of like gestures towards herself. She's like, I'm very small. We hide in the in the trees.
I didn't know how big it was. I mean, she's an inch, but I mean, they could have millions of them. You know, it's like ants.
How are we supposed to get up there?
They weren't taken in the trees. They were taken on the ground.
Why were you on the ground?
Collecting berries.
All these berries everywhere.
It's a forest.
Just like kill a deer or something.
You've killed the great deer?
Oh, yes, and he was delicious.
No. So she seems a little distracted by her like sort of her current problems to notice what you said, and so she's just kind of gonna bypass that for now. It might come up later. We don't know. But yeah, so she's just like, there's these sort of dark elving creatures up ahead that stole them. They put them in sort of a cage.
Okay. Well, when did that become our responsibility?
Please?
What's in it for us?
If you help us, my father, he's the chief. I'm sure he'll be willing to pay you or give you, lodging or whatever you need.
How am I supposed to fit? You're this big, and I'm over 6 feet tall.
We have lodging for guests, please.
Of my size?
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
She's like really scared. She's having a really tough day.
Mm.
I mean, you guys don't have to interact with her.
Worst comes to worst, we have a village to pilfer.
I say we do it.
I guess. I mean, I'm kind of curious to see how they're going to magically make me, be able to get a good night's rest and some lodging. I just like some lodging at this point. So,
Yeah.
So she states that up ahead is some creatures that you guys haven't really seen before. And they are carrying this sort of small cage that is being hoisted with these sprites. It is going to be off the path, and you don't know. So what would you guys like to do with the given knowledge? She just says it's off the path, and you guys are heading north, and it's more northeast.
How far off the path?
Probably. She doesn't really know. She ran away. So
she ran away.
She ran away to go get help, and you're the first people she saw. She was running towards her village.
Is she with us?
Right now? Yeah, right now, yes.
Okay. So she can lead us there.
Yep.
Okay.
So, what, we're going to be better off to go to her village and figure out everything else? To say we're here to help, but...
Well, if we go to the village, they might get away. I don't know. They had a cart and an animal that was carrying this sort of cage.
What time of day was it right now?
It's probably about 2-3 o'clock.
In the afternoon?
Yeah.
Okay, so we haven't been traveling long.
No, you guys were only traveling about an hour before she kind of ran up on you.
Okay. Just lead us to it.
All right. So she kind of like is hanging on to Citradora. She's very intimidated by the other two members of your party. Especially considering they're covered in the blood of a the great deer.
It was great. Tasted great.
So
5-star rating.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
10 out of 10. Would eat the deer again.
all right, guys. Well, that's the end of the campaign. you died to a bunch of deer. I don't know.
Santa's back with a vengeance.
Sorry for the audience that in the campaign 1. We'll try again next week.
Next week, new campaign, entirely new characters.
No deer.
No deer.
No deer are gone.
Yeah, this is a series of one-shots now, clearly. All right, so traveling across this pathway, you guys she's very hesitant to pass back into the darkness. And so she kind of looks both ways before kind of ushering you guys to follow behind her, but stay close. As she's kind of like flying really low to the ground, and she's trying to like navigate. You guys kind of just see this sort of
in the darkness.
She's currently in the darkness. She's kind of ushering you to follow her into the darkness.
Before I go in, can I like break a branch of like a tree or something?
Yeah, sure.
All right, and then I wanna throw it on the ground, and then create a bonfire on top of it.
Yeah, so you create a bonfire in the middle of this forest.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
It's gonna be the Black Forest for long.
I'll try to keep it a little away from trees.
Fire in this.
So as you create this bonfire,
Yep.
you notice that the flames are a bright green color,
That's
flickering.
sick.
It's got this sort of green, but also sort of bluish sort of undertone.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, bonfire in a forest, probably not my brightest idea.
especially when I said it's covered in grass.
It's also concentration, so I can drop it.
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm
Maybe.
going to light
I don't care, not my
torch.
forest.
Yep, so you light your torch. You sort of light your torch. Unlike the bonfire, your torch does run the natural colors that fire should.
Once her torch is lit, I'm gonna drop concentration on the bonfire.
Sure. So as you do, you see like a little leaf that was about to get sparked. Sort of just like go, aw. Kind of just like drops down a little bit.
Yeah.
Like droops, like, aw, man.
I wanted to be a fire.
Yeah, like Olaf.
Well, we have light now.
Yep, so you guys are maneuvering through the darkness behind this sprite, which she does give you her name, which is Cherry Mossleaf. A little description about her. She has chestnut-colored hair with a moss green dress. And then she also has some small flower petals on her sort of moss green dress.
As we're navigating through this, I'm going to roll perception to see if I see anything.
Sure.
It's at 16.
Okay, so looking up ahead, you notice, do you have dark vision?
I don't believe so.
Okay, does anyone in your party have dark vision?
No.
Okay, so I'm going to go with the normal rules unless you tell me otherwise. So I'm just going to say that for thematics, until you can give me an accurate answer for the Minotaur, that you don't. And so looking out ahead, you can only see about 30 or 40 feet in front of this torchlight.
Mm-hmm.
It's very hard for you to see. This is really dark. It's sort of this black forest.
I could make another bonfire.
So you guys are transversing through, and up ahead you notice some rustling, sort of small sort of sounds, and you hear the faint screams of these other sprite people. And Cherry kind of looks at you guys, and she's like, "It's them. They're over there. Help, please."
Do we see them?
Do another perception check for me.
18.
Okay.
Also gonna roll perception.
That one.
Okay.
21.
All right. So you two managed to see off
You
into
are blind.
Well, I mean, cows and bulls
Blind as a bull.
do have bad vision. We have great smell, though.
True.
Yeah, so you guys look off in the distance and you guys see this sort of small cage that is glistening with light from these sprites, sort of like shaking the cage, trying to escape. And on the front end of it, you notice a sort of large mastiff dog sort of sitting on it. And you guys hear a sort of rustling sound from above you as an arrow gets shot down. So Cody, you're going to take 4 points of piercing damage as it shoots you. What do you at on health?
I'm unconscious.
Okay.
I thought you were 8.
No, I got reduced by 8.
Yeah. Do remember that all of you guys do have the healing potions that I gave you before the campaign started.
Okay.
Cool. So each person should have those.
But his total health is reduced until long rest, so a little troublesome.
So you are knocked down, and that is going to start combat.
Do I still roll for initiative when you get knocked down?
Yes.
Or am I automatically last?
You are automatically last, but you still want to... You'll still roll on your turn.
Yeah. I just didn't know if I had to roll for initiative.
Okay, so I have that one. All right, so 25 to 20.
Oh, me.
Okay.
I have 21.
Okay.
17.
17. And 1.
I'm a fast warlock.
Apparently.
I mean, I have like +3 to dex.
All right, so starting the top is going to be Drozath. So Drozath,
Can I see where the arrow came from?
do a perception check for me.
9.
Yeah, so it was really dark, so it's really hard to see past this sort of torchlight. So you don't see it.
I'm going to point. So I know it came from up, right?
You know it came from up, and you also can see you can see the mastiff.
I'm going to look back up at the trees, like up into the trees, and start a bonfire in the tree.
Okay. How does bonfire read?
Bonfire. Create bonfire. You create a Oh, it's on the ground. No!
That's why I wanted you to read that.
No! It's got to be on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I will... I don't know. Can I hold my turn?
So you can hold an action, but it's a specific action and a specific reaction. So some X occurs, you can utilize X, and I have to know what those things are.
Okay, how far away is the Mastiff?
The Mastiff is under 100. It's like probably 60 feet away.
Okay, and
it's just really
is it
dark.
very clearly the thing that's keeping the pixies?
It's the thing that's holding the cage, like carrying the cage. So,
okay, yeah, I'll just blast it.
because you can see it from the pixie lights.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and roll to see if you hit.
23.
To hit?
Yep.
Yeah, that'll hit. Roll for damage.
1 to 10. 2.
2.
2 whole damage.
Okay, so as you're kind of like sitting there, this mastiff is kind of like growling back at these pixies in this cage, and suddenly this sort of blast hits it on the side of its neck.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of whimpers and takes some damage. It looks pretty banged up, but it's still alive.
Oh, please don't tell me it's just a normal dog. Oh no.
All right. And next up in the turn order. So, yeah, at this time, it's going to shoot another arrow down. What's your AC?
14.
14? All right. You're going to take 2 points of piercing damage, and then you're going to hear a sort of jumping sound as it seems to have jumped to a different location.
Can I pinpoint? Is it my turn?
It's going into your turn, so on your turn you could try to do that. So it'll go to your turn now.
Can I pinpoint where that sound came from?
Go ahead and do a perception check.
7.
7? Yeah, it's really dark, and you're really confused. You almost got shot.
Almost.
Yeah, for a lot more. What would you like to do?
I forgot you were unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
My friend's unconscious.
How
And I
close?
decided to shoot a dog.
How close am I to Gore?
To Gore, you're within 30 feet. You could easily make it to him. You guys were staying pretty relatively close given the darkness and the one torchlight.
Yeah, I'm going to go to Gore and can I find his healing potion and use that?
Yeah, I'll say that you easily find his healing potion on him. He doesn't have a lot on his person, so
I really don't.
so yeah, you find his healing potion and you can use your action to utilize the healing potion on him.
Okay, so I'm gonna force his mouth open, use the healing potion.
Now, given your status, anything above will be considered temporary hit points until a long rest.
Okay.
So you roll 2d4.
Would be me though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's her. She rolls 2d4 plus 1. And then if anything over 8, it will be considered temporary hit points.
5.
So you're back into the fight.
Back into the fight.
All right. So that'll end your turn.
Yeah.
Next up is the Mastiff, who whimpers but doesn't seem to move. He seems to be sticking with whatever his master's plan is.
All right.
And kind of hanging out. All right. And at the bottom of the order, it's Gore.
Mastiff just gets shot. And
So how far away am I from the Mastiff?
The Mastiff, you're close to what did I say, 30 feet?
I think 60.
I'm pretty sure I said 62.
Because I didn't know if he was further ahead than him or...
No, so you're literally right next to her, so I'm going to say it's about 60 feet away from you.
Okay.
And you hear a rustling above you.
I'm going to perceive above me.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 19.
So looking up, kind of pissed off that you were knocked unconscious, you do see a couple of leaves falling from the tree directly above you.
Okay.
This is a pretty thick tree, though, so...
How tall is the tree?
You can't see the top, given that the darkness, and you don't have dark vision, so you can presume it's pretty tall.
Okay. Like above 20 feet tall?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
So you wouldn't want that falling on you.
No. And I will just move forward 30 feet towards the dog.
Sure, yep.
Cool.
All right, so then we'll go back up to the top of the round.
Can I...
Is there a tree I can stop at that's around there to take cover from the arrow in that area?
Yeah. I'll say that you used the rest of your action, given that you didn't attack. You got up and you used 25 feet of your movement, and then you basically are using. You'll get partial cover. So
Cool.
I'm going to along the path, but out of the range of anyone, create a bonfire on the ground.
So you guys are off the path by a bit.
Okay, well then, still just
On the ground.
on the ground, away from anyone to try to illuminate
Sure.
just the general area.
Yep. How far away are you trying to get from them?
From them,
From your teammates?
Well, I'm ahead.
I mean,
now,
yeah.
so-
at least 5 feet.
Sure. So you are. We'll say you're about 15 feet away from your team members,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to cast a bonfire on the ground.
Mhm.
Sure. Oof! You used your action to cast bonfire.
Yep.
Anything else?
Look around, see if I can spot them.
Do a perception check for me.
12.
So looking around with your bonfire, you notice shaking of the trees that Gore was just at.
Okay, can we see them at all now that it's more lit up?
You can see the bottom half. You don't see anything in the bottom half, so he's got to be high up.
Okay. Then can I use my movement to try to get cover?
Yep.
And then that's it.
All right. Next up,
All right.
Tredora.
Roll perception to see if I can tell where it's coming from.
Sure, go ahead.
Oh, 22.
So looking around with the two sources of light, you manage to catch what you think is a foot in the movement of this tree that Drozath was just looking at.
Okay. I'm going to use my short bow to shoot in
Okay.
that direction.
Okay.
19?
That hits. Roll for damage.
9.
9. Okay, so it needs to see. Okay, so yeah, you shoot it and unexpectedly gets hit, and it manages to not fall to the ground. So it managed to save itself from that.
Do I see that?
You do see where it was, yes. So so now you have a good understanding of where it's at.
Okay.
All right, and then as my bonus action, I am going to hidden step.
Sure.
So I'm invisible till the start of my next turn.
Okay, are you going to move at all?
Yes. I'm gonna.
And that's a bonus action to use it?
Hidden step, yes, it's a bonus action.
Okay.
So I am gonna move, like.
Are you holding this torch still?
I'm gonna say no.
So you're going to drop the torch.
Yeah.
So it'll snuff out the torch as you fall. We'll say that.
And then I'm going to, move. Let's see, I'm gonna move, like, over near Gore.
Okay. Yep. So you're going to be moving towards where Gore ran towards the Mastiff. All right. Next in the turn order is the Mastiff. Yeah, he's going to sit there.
Still a dog.
He's still a dog. He's still being the goodest boy. And
still got shot in the neck.
Yep. And then all right, so then that leaves us to Gore. Gore, what are you doing?
Charging towards that dog.
So you are within charging range. Are you charging?
Well, the dog hasn't done anything.
Yep, he's been doing his job.
Yeah, I'm gonna just get to the dog, like where the cage. Like, is the cage thing still in his mouth?
No, the cage. So it's like he has a harness on, and he has like a little, like basically like a little carriage attached to him, full of these sprites. Okay, so it's like a pack. He's basically like a horse, but smaller for sprites.
Okay, so I'm gonna get to the dog, and then I'm going to like grapple him to remove the harness.
So you're doing a opposed strength check. So go ahead and roll a strength check for me.
11.
Yeah, so you do not manage to take this from him. He is clearly doing his job the best he can. And he kind of growls at you even for attempting to take this from him. He seems like he's probably going to try to attack you because you got within range on his next turn.
I'm going to draw my whip.
All right, you got that whip out.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
You're going to obedience school today.
All right.
It is awful.
It is, but hey, you don't know how they train this dog.
All right.
Aww.
So back up to the top of the round.
Shoot the dog.
It's John Wick's dog.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Oh.
So Drozeth, it is your turn.
I'm going to can I perceive again to see if I can locate the guy?
Yep. I'm going to give you advantage, given that you knew his previous location.
Okay. Well, non-natural 20 and 3.
So yeah, you managed to find him. He still seems to be in the same place, especially because he just got shot and he didn't move. So
I'm going to Eldritch Blast him.
go for it. Go and see if you hit.
15?
That hits. Roll for damage.
4.
Okay, hold on.
It's out of 10. Like, I'm rolling really high for, like, initiative, and then it's, like, damage 2.
Well, last time you hit the 9 for it, like, for the 7. That was great. I'm trying to wrestle a dog over here.
Yeah, that I already shot in the face.
And he does manage to stay in the tree. All right, next.
Is his ankle looking rough?
He definitely broke an ankle hanging on. All right, so next.
And then can I use my movement to try to catch up to them?
Yep. Oh, well, to him, you don't know where she is.
Yeah, up to him.
Yep.
Or like towards the Mastiff.
Yep, so you start moving towards the Mastiff. All right. Next.
Harriet Potter and her visibility cloak over here.
All right, so Drozeth, what is your armor class?
Are you talking about Harold Ceramic?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Drozeth, what's your armor class?
Armor class.
Oh, 14.
14? All right. You're going to take 4 points of piercing damage
Do I know where that's coming from?
from the tree.
Okay. As a reaction, I'm going to Hellish Rebuke them.
Sure. What do they have to make?
Dex save of 13.
He's going to fail.
Okay. I'm going to do 2d10 fire damage.
Go ahead and roll 2d10.
10 total.
Okay. How do you want to do this?
I want him to catch on fire and fall out of the tree.
All right. So as you get shot, this sort of arrow in the back of your shoulder blade, sort of feel that sort of you turn around and just kind of look up to where the tree was, and you kind of just cast with a single finger pointing towards him, and this tree sort of lights up like a Christmas tree as this burning humanoid figure sort of just falls face first out of the tree, still on fire the whole way down until it hits the ground and sort of just sizzles in the grass. All right.
And then keep going.
All right. And so it's going to go to your turn.
See,
Okay.
you know how to cook.
All right. Well, I'm visible again.
Dinner.
So where exactly am I in relation to like Gore and the Mastiff?
So you are, they're 60 feet away. You are you moved towards them on your last movement. So you are about 30 feet away.
About 30, so I can get to them on my movement.
Yes.
I'm going to move up to the Mastiff, and well, Master's dead, so I'm going to explain to the Mastiff that his master is dead, but
Your boy got burnt.
but
It's like a tater chip.
he can, or it. Would I know if it's a boy or a girl?
It is a boy mastiff.
Boy, but he can come along with us if he lets us lets the sprites go.
He looks at you and he says, Master's dead? Master's dead?
I Eldritch Blast the top.
No!
But why? Why'd you kill my master?
Well, it was an accident.
You see like a little tear go down his little doggy face.
Oh, baby. I say, oh, well, it was an accident. He shot my acquaintance, and he's got a bit of a temper. And
Master said if he dies, then I'm supposed to head back to the headquarters with these guys no matter what. And he starts trying to like take off. What are you gonna do? It's still your turn.
I Eldritch Blast him.
Well, it's her turn, and then it goes to.
Got it.
Yeah.
it goes to him. Can I attempt to grapple him?
Yeah, it'll be in a opposed strength check.
Yeah.
So you'll roll just a strength check against me to see. His name is Brutus.
Brutus about to be brutalized by an Eldritch Blast.
What'd you get?
20.
Okay, so you manage. What are you trying to do with your grapple? Are you trying to hold him in place? What are you trying to do? Remove the thing so the dog can just go away, or what are you trying to do?
No, just tackle him to the ground.
So yeah, you
right on top of him.
So being the literal giant that you are, you kind of just sort of put this dog in a headlock, and you kind of just give him the people's elbow, as it were, down on this dog as you sort of grapple him into a position where he can't attack you, but he's also being held. As you do that, the sort of cart behind him that's holding this cage is starting to shake. These sprites are like, fight, 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 fight.
A reverse cage match where all the viewers are in the cage.
Yes. That is now the official name of this podcast.
Reverse cage match.
Yeah. Nicolas Cage match.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so that is your turn. Now it is going to be the dog's turn. He's going to. I need you to make another strength check for me.
7.
So he just barely manages to scrape himself off of you. and he tries to start darting away, which will give you an attack of opportunity.
And me.
And you.
What about me?
You're out of range. I'm sorry.
Oh, my range is 120 feet.
It's melee range for attack of opportunity.
No! That's a fair point.
Oh,
So he's trying to take off.
I don't want to hurt him.
I'm using my whip.
Well, you're being a loser.
So given that you guys have alternate motives of how you want to do this, both of you roll to see who's going to go first.
All right.
Just a basic roll.
Yep.
11.
11.
Both
Go
of you
again.
roll again.
Oh my gosh.
17.
12er.
Okay, so she's going to go before you.
Okay.
For her reaction.
That's
All
good.
right. Instead of attacking him, because the cart is still attached to him, can I just like try to break the cart, like where it's like,
Yeah,
connected?
go ahead and do a... Because it's going to be kind of finesse so you don't hurt the dog. Go ahead and roll an attack roll with disadvantage.
An attack with disadvantage. What's an attack?
So you're like using your staff or whatever you'd be using. So you're going to just roll two d20 and then take a disadvantage.
5, and then with my staff would be a 9.
A 9?
Yeah.
Okay. It's pretty close to what I had envisioned. So we're going to go for the viewers at home. When a party member makes a close enough save to where it can go either way, I give them a odds. It's called high or low. If they guess right, they succeed. If they guess wrong, they will fail. High or low.
Let's go low.
All right, that's a 3. So you do manage to just bypass this dog, like kind of just like tapping its tail a little bit as you break off this sort of structural system, that this harness that it has on it, and the dog sort of darts off into the distance into Mozzie's attack of opportunity.
Gore.
Oh, Gores. I apologize. Mozzie was the character from our previous campaign.
So he's still in my attack of opportunity. He's trying to get away. I'm going to use my whip, and I'm going to try to do a grapple with it.
Sure. Go ahead.
I can bind him with it.
Yeah. So go ahead and try to do a strength roll against me.
Yeah, it's a whole 7.
So he easily bypasses you with a nat 20. He kind of swats your whip out of the way with his paw, and he kind of just like continues to go along.
Damn dog.
And he runs off.
Eldritch Blast the dog. Come on.
All right. Go ahead and roll a perception check for me. See if you can still see this dog at this point.
13.
No.
Wow, you just don't want me to kill the dog.
No, because the thing was, is it's a dark area and he's not near the sprites anymore, so he
That's
doesn't.
fair, yeah. He does get harder to see.
Yeah, so I mean, I should give you disadvantage, but just given that it would have been funny, I was going to give it to you.
That would have been a 2.
Yeah, see? So with that, we will end combat.
Nice.
I'd like to go loot the dead guy.
So as you try to,
Can I call dibs as I see her walk over to the incinerated man?
yeah, go for it.
I got
Dibs.
first hit.
Dibs.
I drew first blood.
I hit him last. It's all me.
I'm going to be the dog and wheel the cart back over with all the berries in it.
Yeah, so they're
Right.
still locked inside of this cage, and they're
Spike it like a football.
so Cherry kind of looks at you and she's just like, thank you so much for saving my family. We appreciate you.
Well, compensation says you really appreciate me.
Well, when we get back to the
Here's goat. Here's deer meat.
when we get back to the village, I'm sure my father will be happy to compensate you.
Okay.
And so you're going towards who's looting?
Me.
Are you doing it? Are you going to
I
loot?
called dibs.
You're also
I drew
closer.
first blood.
He was closer.
I was closer as
You
well.
were closer. So
I mean, I'm running over to it.
yeah. So you run over to this extra crispy KFC fried man,
Yeah.
and do an investigation check for me.
Investigation. I'm actually better. 19.
So looking on his body, you don't find a whole lot, but you can determine a few things. One, that it was elvish nature.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is that it did have a few items on his person.
Let's go.
So you managed to find a sort of small chest. This is actually going to be residing in the cart.
So he has that. What's on his person?
On his person, you find 3 gold pieces and some extra crispy armor and some extra crispy sword and a crossbow.
Okay. So what kind of sword is it?
Just a short sword that's extra crispy.
It's like bacon bits.
All right.
Short sword and a crossbow.
So
go.
As she runs up, I want to toss her a gold piece.
Oh.
Okay. So you asking about compensation, they do mention on the back of this cart there is a sort of chest that you're happy to have, that they're happy to give you.
Okay.
It was the drow who had captured them supplies. So
can I open the chest?
Yeah.
All right, I would open the chest.
You open up the chest, and you manage to find 15 gold pieces, a thing of rope, and some sort of cloak.
Cloak?
Yep. And a hand axe.
Ooh, a whole axe.
Hey, I like axes. The cloak, can I do a quick Arcana check on it?
Sure. Yeah, you think it's magical.
Woohoo! Alright. So
are we heading back over to him at this point?
Yeah, at this point, KFC. Go ahead.
I do want to cut the ears off of this drow.
Yeah, so it's extra crispy ears. You just slice those off.
Yeah.
Delicacy.
Little snacks.
Oh, I don't want them for snacks.
I do.
Back up. I'm also going to take an eye.
All right, we're just... the eye is actually going to be crisped, so you're not going to take the eye. But you can take the crispy ears.
Yum. Yeah, I'm also going to talk with Citra. Is that okay?
Citra's fine.
Yeah, I'll talk to Citra about what I found on the drow before I and ask if she wants a short or a light crossbow or a burnt short sword.
The crossbow is also burnt, and it doesn't have a string anymore.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
Broken crossbow, broken short sword. I'll offer them.
Are we playing into the druids can't use metal?
Technically, yes.
Sorry, can't use those.
Nice. I guess we just walk back over to the thing. Can I inspect the cloak as well?
So you see, as you guys get back, that your companion Gore is kind of staring at this cloak, and he's kind of eyeballing it, "Ooh, this is nice." And you notice a sort of a small pile of gold and a couple other items still in this chest. But while you guys are doing that, and he's clearly distracted by this cloak, there's still the sprites in this cage shaking and going, "Let us out! Let us out! Let us out!" And you notice that the Cherry is still looking at you guys can you please let my mom out? I know you got a cool item and all, but my mom, her mom kind of comes up, and her name is Cranberry, and so she has this sort of reddish sort of curly hair, and she's kind of just "Hi, you want to let us out, please?"
I'll let them out. Break the lock.
Yeah. Go.
Is there? No, we didn't find a key.
No. Go ahead.
Is it locked, or is it just kind of a contraption there too small to lift?
It's a contraption, so it's kind of like a snare trap.
Mm-hmm.
So having your knowledge of nature, I'll say that you easily open it.
I carry a hunting trap too. So.
Yeah. So
yeah,
you manage to open it up, and 4 sprite women come out of this sort of contraption. One of them being Cranberry Honey Bay. Another one being Ayana Golden Pool. The next being Peanut Honey Bay and Dewdrop Tiger Pond.
Oh my God.
These are little sprites.
I was expecting Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather.
Leave my
All right,
sprite
what
names
were their
alone.
names again? I have Cranberry.
Cranberry, Ayana, Peanut, and Dewdrop. And at this point, you guys notice it's probably about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It's getting close to being dark.
Can I do an Arcana check on the cloak?
Sure, go and do an Arcana check for me.
Big roll. 13.
So yeah, you can easily tell that that cloak that Gore has in his hands is magical.
Dope.
Given that you kind of looked around, you also noticed that there's some other magic emanating from the chest, but you don't know exactly what it was. Okay.
Yeah.
Investigate the chest.
Sure. Yeah. So you investigate the chest, and yeah, go and do an investigation check for me.
13.
So similar to before, you notice the same items that you saw before.
Okay. I'm just gonna store them on me. And
Can I take a look at the
Can
chest?
I interrupt him while he's pocketing all the gold? Say, hey! Is this our gold or your gold?
divvy up later.
Fair enough.
I kind of want to get out of the woods.
Yeah. So you're going to try to do an investigation check for me?
21.
So looking at it before he pockets everything, you notice that there is some magic emanating from some of these items.
The items specifically.
Is the box magical?
But you didn't do an Arcana check, so
Yeah. Can I do
the box itself is not magical now.
Can I do an Arcana check?
Sure.
13.
So yeah, you notice that the hand axe seems to be magical as well,
Hand axe. Okay.
as well as the rope. Ironically enough.
That's the other item.
Yeah.
Something else.
Hey, Gore, could I take a look at that rope?
Yeah, let's just get out of the woods and then we'll just
Okay.
kind of
Yeah.
see what all this stuff is.
Yeah. So Cranberry kind of nods. She's like, "I agree. Let's
I don't want to go unconscious again.
get the bleep out of here." Because they don't cuss. Okay.
Did she say bleep? Or was it like the censored
Like
sound?
a self-censor? Like just a bar?
So for thematic purposes, I'm going to say that it's going to be similar to like the SpongeBob soundtrack whenever I go back and edit this. And I'm going to go ahead and add in a sound that'll be specific to sprites when they want to curse.
Like
Take a bite of the beer. Damn, that shit bussin'. No cap.
Right. So Cranberry sort of leads you guys back towards their village. And this is when Cherry kind of looks at you guys and she's like, "Well, so I know I said we live in the treetops before, but I didn't know you and I was really scared that you guys were going to come kill all my people, so I lied to you. We don't live in the treetops." And as you guys get closer, you guys notice this sort of large oaken wood tree.
Yeah.
And so they live, she kind of like knocks on the tree and it opens up. In the middle of this giant oak tree is there a village. And this tree goes up probably like 30, 50 feet. Like it's huge, massive tree that's big enough to hold all of you guys in there comfortably, as well as an entire village. So, and she says, "Welcome to the village of Oakenheart, the Sprite Village." And as you guys sort of enter inside, a sort of big, scruffy-looking sprite moves forward. He has this sort of large orange, silvery orange beard, no shirt, sort of just long chest hairs on his little sprite body. Kind of walks up and he's just like, "Hello, I am Chief Basil Honeybay, and I hear you guys saved some of my kin today. For that, I suggest we drink in honor of friendship." And he kind of snaps his fingers as a whole bunch of these sprites start moving forward with a whole bunch of drinks and food to have a huge festival with you guys.
Huge feast, and then we're just like...
Huge for them, yes. So, like, for you guys, this is like a normal feast, but for them, this is like an extravagant feast.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
Had this prepared in the off chance that somebody saved their kid.
What you can gather is that this is probably all the sort of food they have. And they're going to be throwing this festival to honor you because of how you stated
No.
you needed to be paid.
Yeah, that's right.
Yo.
So they're going to be feeding you guys in order to, but it's
I
fine.
need meat.
Yeah, so they do have
Let's go.
some little rabbits and stuff.
Yeah. Rabbit stew.
You got any more of that deer?
Dear, I'm afraid that we don't kill deer. There's only one here in the Black Forest.
Unlucky. Move on.
But you saved my kin, so I guess I let it go.
You want to try it?
No, stop.
Anyways, so they start throwing like this giant party, and they're all getting drunk on mead, like because they make like honey wine. So they're sitting here just gobbling down little thimbles of mead, and you just see a lot of these little sprites just getting turned. Like they're just some of them are falling over. They're having a great time. Some of the sprite warriors are even here. So you have like Sprinkle Jelly Bean or Jelly Bell, Smoky Bumblebine. These dudes are just like super pumped to just be here and be a part of you guys. This sort of and these are like really stacked, like 8-packs looking sprite dudes who are just like, full on like scars, battle wounds. And Smokey's like, yeah, man, we fought in the wars. We were great people. And Sprinkle's like, yeah, man. And that's the party so far. What do you guys want to do?
I want to say that dog was like 2 feet tall. I'm sorry. What's it? Yeah.
Cool.
So it's starting to get dark at this point. It's almost pitch black at this point.
Yeah, I kind of want to just get my room and go get some rest.
Yeah, so they kind of like point off to what they have is considered as like their like meeting hall for the whole city, and it's like this large sort of room that would probably only fit all three of you there, like to sleep, barely enough space.
Okay. Well,
Of course.
I mean, it's the biggest area they have in their whole little village inside of this giant oak tree. Yeah, Chief Basil's like, I'm sorry we don't have more, but I'm afraid we're not accustomed to many guests, just a few, and even here within the the Black Forest, we only get a few elves, maybe once in a while. But of course, they mostly live in Everon, so we don't travel very much.
anything you could tell me before I go to sleep about the port village up north of here?
Oh, Port Village, yes. It's the mortal port. That's where all the beings who've been transformed to the Feywilds, they kind of have made their own little village.
What do you mean transformed?
Transported from their mortal planes. This is. Do you not know where you are?
No, not at all.
Oh, well, I'm afraid to disappoint you and tell you that you are currently in the Feywilds. It's a magical plane with fairy folk and spirits like us.
Okay. I would say we're just trying to figure out where we are.
Yeah, you probably got transported here by some higher fairy magic or some, celestial magic or some demonic magic that bring mortals here for their own fun.
You ever been to the Abyss?
I'm afraid I have not. I'm
crazy over there.
I've only been in
parties are wild. People are dying left and right. It's crazy.
I've only been in the Feywilds, I'm afraid. But the Port Village is mostly these mortals who have survived, and they created a little makeshift shack out of all the rubble off in the distance. They live off of the Shield Coast, as this continent is known.
Okay. Cool. I'm going to spend my time investigating the cloak.
Okay.
You wanted to look at the rope?
Yeah.
Here's the rope. You want to look at the axe?
I'd rather look at the cloak.
I'm looking at the cloak. So you want to look at the axe?
I'd like the cloak.
Well, I'm looking at the cloak.
All right. Can I persuade him to allow me to look at the cloak?
It's metal. You don't do metal.
Does it have a wooden handle?
It does.
Or would it be considered something that
It still would be something you wouldn't be able to use, unfortunately.
Okay.
Can I try to persuade him to look at the cloak?
You know what? Do an persuasion check, and you do an intimidation check, and let's see who outrolls each other.
I mean, I could do an intimidation check too.
Well, that's what I'm proficient in.
Same.
Yeah.
If you'd rather do intimidation.
I'll do persuasion. I'll try to be buddies. 24.
Intimidation.
Yeah, I got 21.
Let's go!
So you feel in the back of your mind that you want to give it to him, but you do not have to.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make your character do something that they would not do.
And I'm just there like, come on.
But you do feel in the back of your mind this sort of imposing feel like you would want to do it, to give it to him.
I mean, I just want to figure out what this stuff is, like dividing it up, because then if something is more suitable to one person or another.
I mean, it's not like me inspecting the cloak is a sentence to me keeping.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. That's why I was just blown away how much you wanted to get it from.
I just really want the cloak.
It's a cloak.
It's a cloak. It suits me. I'm already wearing a cloak.
Yeah, I don't wear armor.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you could use an axe.
You don't. You can wear armor, but you
No, a cloak is not armor.
Cloak
It's like
is not armor.
No.
coat.
Yeah. Just check out this axe, and then we'll see what everything does. And if the cloak suits you, I will happily give it to you.
All right, sounds good.
Okay.
Can I do an Arcana check on the axe? Cockeyed on every axis. Solid 13.
Okay. So after some time spent with the axe, you notice that you perceive it to be magical in nature. It's a +1 hand axe.
Okay.
All right. I would like to take a look at the rope.
Go ahead and check the rope for me.
What do you want me to roll?
Go and do an Arcana check.
Truth.
Infinite
That's not what it
And remember, you no longer have your healing potion.
And will this be a long rest?
15.
Once you rest, yes.
Okay.
15?
Mm-hmm.
You spent some time with it, and you know it's called a rope of climbing.
Rope of climbing.
Checking out my cloak.
So
the team's cloak.
Arcana?
Yeah, I already ran Arcana on it earlier. I'm just spending the time with it at this point. It'll be at 15, though.
Yep, so investigating the cloak a second time, you know it's the cloak of many fashions.
I don't know what that means.
So what that means is that you can flip it one way and it'll be a different color than another way. It's really stylish.
Mm.
This one says I'm here to party. This one says I'm here for the funeral.
Yeah.
It's also good at
like a charisma modifier? Or
no, it's just
a cool cloak.
It's just a cloak that changes its color.
All right.
It changes your look, so you can use it to disguise yourself.
Ah, there's the relevant information. I see.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to tell Gore that this is just a really good axe. It's a +1 hand axe.
All right. So are you guys gonna, now that you guys have investigated your items, do you guys want to party a bit? Or are you guys gonna just go to bed? What's the plan?
My character passed out today and everything else. He's ready to get some sleep.
Okay.
I'll go hang out with the Sprite.
And what did you say?
I said I'll party a bit.
All right. So you guys both are partying a bit. How late are you looking to party?
Like hour or two.
Okay. What about you?
Late enough that I can still get a decent night's sleep.
Okay. So after about an hour of partying, So before we start, Gore passed out. He went straight to bed. Just dropped on the hardwood floor, no pillow, just straight sleep.
Crash.
Sleep in the nude.
Giant naked minotaur on the floor, and everyone's just partying around it. Woo!
Drozeth went to bed just slightly after.
I still I want to take the time to read what's his name?
Diary.
Yeah, Magnus's diary.
Yep, so we will get to that in a second. And so then yeah, and then you are still partying. So you are having a good time. So go ahead and roll a constitution check for me.
Saving throw or just check?
Just a check, just to see how you're doing.
Fine.
Because they're feeding you thimbles of alcohol.
7.
So you are having a rough go with the alcohol right now, but you're still managing.
Stronger in the Feywilds.
So looking at this book, Drozath, you notice that the book itself is empty.
Okay. Can I do an Arcana check on it?
You can.
14.
So you notice that there's some sort of magic on it, but you don't know why it's not letting you view it at this time. So something changed between the moment that you opened it to now.
Okay. Can I try writing something in it?
Sure. So you grab a quill and ink and you try to write into it, and as you do, the ink sort of dribbles off page as if it won't hold onto the page.
Okay.
From the magical incantation on the paper itself.
Yeah. Well, that's it's weird.
After that, what do you want to do? You just want to go to bed?
Yeah, just close it up and go to bed.
All right, so you go to bed. Being the last one awake, you are pretty intoxicated, but go ahead and do a perception check with disadvantage.
8.
So with an 8, you can still hear, off in the distance, a howling sound of a wolf just crying into the night as all of the sprites huddle close together. And that is where we will end session 1 of Dungeons and Dice Dragons.